It's the most wonderful time of year. It's the A-League finals, the elimination finals in the men's, the grand final itself in the women's competition. Here's the predictions and the preview for this upcoming weekend, which contains a trio of fantastic matchups. First of all, the A-League women's grand final sees Melbourne City play Sydney FC, the two best teams in the A-League women's this year. They finished in the top two, and of course, in dramatic fashion in the final round of the regular season, City just getting above Sydney FC in the final game there to claim the premiership. And I have a feeling that might come into play in this match. That little edge, knowing that City were able to pip Sydney FC at the end there, who the Sky Blues, looked pretty comfortable to claim the Premier's plate for those last couple of rounds. And the way Sydney just sort of slipped a little bit at the end, just a little bit of a road bump, and Melbourne City were able to capitalise and finish above them. That might be a interesting little sort of mental factor playing into this game, you know what I mean? And I think as well, Melbourne City being the home team is going to play a massive factor as well. City, they have been so impressive to finish off this campaign, cruised past Newcastle Jets in the two legs of the semi-finals, scoring 3 goals in both the first and then the second leg as well, scoring 6 on aggregate. But you're coming up against the Sydney FC side, who have so much experience, of course, in grand finals, as does Melbourne City, of course, but Sydney FC always so formidable coming up against them when it comes to finals, and of course they are the reigning champions, defeating Western United last year. The Sky Blues getting through to the grand final, the decider, after defeating Central Coast Mariners 1-0 in the first leg and then 1-1. It was a bit of a tighter affair in that semi-final. For me, though, I think the home advantage, and as I mentioned before, that little mental edge that might come into play here with Melbourne City being that team just to sneak ahead above Sydney and win the premiership might come into play here. And overall, though, I've just been so impressed by how City have finished this campaign. It's a really hard one to pick. Both of these teams have won 4 championships previously, looking to make it number 5. Who will it be? I'm back in Melbourne City, but I tell you what, it's a really, really hard one to pick. It could easily swing either way. You look at both teams on paper, and there's no surprise that both teams are in the decider, are at the final day. They've been so impressive this year, and it should be a fantastic match on Saturday afternoon. Then later that evening, we've got more football on Saturday because it's the elimination finals in the A-League men's. Of course, Wellington Phoenix and Central Coast Mariners through to the semi-finals. Who will meet them? It's either going to be Sydney FC and Macarthur, and the other Elim victory, Melbourne City. First of all, just what a fantastic setup, a fantastic lineup of elimination finals we have. Sydney FC and Macarthur FC. The Bulls have defeated the Sky Blues on 2 occasions this season, and we think back to just a couple weeks ago when the Bulls hosted Sydney FC. We were reduced to just 9 players and still came away with 3 points. Can Sydney finally break through that stubborn Bulls defense? Macarthur are coming off a disappointing 3-0 loss to Wellington in the final round of the regular season. But what the Bulls have shown this year, and it's the reason why they are playing in the top 6, is they have had some shaky performances here and there. They have picked up a decent number of losses, but they've done a really good job of bouncing back and regrouping, which is what they struggled to do last year. Of course, we shouldn't forget that this Macarthur side picked up the wooden spoon last year. Miles Stajowski, credit to him, who has done a fantastic job. But Sydney FC, it's a side that you do not want to be coming up against at this time of the season, because the Sky Blues are coming into this game with some good form. Of course, scoring 7 goals against Perth Glory, really nice way to enter finals. Should be a pretty strong crowd at Allianz Stadium for this one. Sydney FC, I just think with the confidence they've been playing with at the moment, I know the Bulls beat them twice this season, but I think Sydney do get ahead. It's been a great season from the likes of Joe Lolly, Anthony Caceres. They've got a really star-studded side, Sydney FC. Look, for Macarthur FC, yes, Uli De Villa is back, but he's missed some matches in the past month or so. So, losing that momentum there. Valerie Germain really has to step up here for the Bulls. Their star striker for Macarthur. Again, should be a really fascinating match. Again, this one could swing either way too. Macarthur on their day could get the win here once again against Sydney FC. But I think in these big finals matches, Sydney FC just have something in them, man. And look, they did it last time around. Last year, remember, they defeated Western Sydney Wanderers in the elimination final at home here. I think they will just get ahead of Macarthur FC. Should be a tight one, though. Melbourne Victory, Melbourne City. How good is it? A Melbourne Derby in the finals. And this is set up to be a really fascinating matchup because we look at the Melbourne Derbies that have played out this season and a couple scoreless draws, and then Victory getting the win towards the end of the season in that third Derby, meeting for the fourth time this season. Look, Victory finishing the season in third, pretty comfortable overall to finish the campaign. Losing, though, to Western Sydney Wanderers on the final day of the season. City defeating Western United in their final match of the regular season. Melbourne City, they've been really impressive to finish this campaign. They had to get the wins to jump into sixth place, replace Western Sydney Wanderers, and they managed to do it. And now, I'd be scared of playing Melbourne City, man. You look at the personnel they have, and again, it's when it comes to these finals, it's a different ball game, man. As we know, like it's all about these one-off fixtures, and you look at the team they have, Melbourne City. You know, Tolgai Arslan, we know Jamie McLaren on his day can step up and score a few crucial goals as well. Even someone like Leon Natel, who's maybe been a bit quiet for most of this season, finishing the season pretty strongly, scoring some nice goals of late. Marin Jakalic has been pretty consistent off the right-hand side as well. But again, you put that up against the Victory side, who have had Machash and Fornaroli, who's obviously been bagging goals for Victory this season. There's fascinating battles all across the park. Even defensively, both of these teams very strong at the back as well. I'm really excited to see this match play out, and I think on another day I would have tipped Victory. You know, they finished 3 spots higher than Melbourne City. I think this one's going to go right down to the wire, and Victory will just get through. Penalty shootout, 4-3 in pens. I'm going to say 2-2. This game could maybe 1-1 at the end of regular time, 2-2 at extra time. It's hard to split. I think City just entering finals with good form. They have really good experience now in recent years of navigating final series and making it to the grand final. But Victory, they'll be hoping to get there once again, man. It's been a few years now since Melbourne Victory have been there on the decider. I think penalties will be required to decide this Melbourne Derby. Fantastic trio of games this coming weekend. Feel free to throw your predictions and thoughts in the comments section. Join the conversation. Appreciate you guys tuning in. As always, my name's Lockie. This is Coast for Football, and I'll see you in the next one.